but they'll be bitterly disappointed, I'd imagine, going undefeated all season and then just not being able to get over the final hurdle now. But you've really got to give your props to St John's College from Hamilton. 3 years in a row they've been in the final, Bev. Fallen short the last 2 years.
What if we go through this replay here, mate? As I said, 8-9. They looked at some options. Great kick out to the wing. St John's, I don't think they really they were too bothered about it. But a well-deserved try to make it 42-31 and what's been an epic final. Nixon Foreman to finish things off. Tries to whip it round. It does! What a kick! That is it though! St John's College have won the Team Mandel Cup for 2024. Kia ora, tulofa lava, malo alai. Welcome back to Mercury Bay Park Arena 2025 New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby WRC 1 final. It's Auckland Rhinos taking on the brand makers Waikato Stampede. My name is Bevin Jenkinson of Bev's Broadcasting. I managed to find my voice again. I'll be your cameraman and your commentator. Referees for this one is Hunter Crow and Tony Dinnington. Sorry, Warwick? Yeah, cool. I was like, I recognise you, but yeah. This is the final of WRC 1. Auckland finishing top of pool 1, Waikato top of pool 2. Cameron Leslie wins the tip off, fires it down to Keenan Alexander. And bit of bumble with Gareth Lynch there. So gets the ball away. And Georgia Mekia will open the scoring for the brand makers Waikato Stampede. Freddie Duncan, late call up into the team, offloads away to Gareth Lynch. Back to Duncan. Duncan pushing well. Just short of halfway. And 8-second violation. First turnover goes the way of the Waikato Stampede. On court for them. Keenan Alexander, Cameron Leslie, Georgia Mekia, and name's completely gone for me. While for Auckland Rhinos, Hayden Barton-Coots, Gareth Lynch, Freddie Duncan and Marshall Armai. Leslie, 3-time Paralympic gold medalist in swimming. Working his way round, tips the ball over. No try. 8 seconds in the key. And the Rhinos get a turnover their own back. Marshall Armai, recently named the World Blacks co-captain, along with Hayden Barton-Coots, who just takes the ball. And the three-pointer just pushes away off Mekia, scores. One apiece. Keenan Alexander from the Mighty Thames area. Played for Thames Rugby and Sports Club. Here with Cameron Leslie, wearing his famous number 1 jersey, or singlet. Trying to find a way through. Former World Blacks captain himself. Barton-Coots tried to deny. And out of court is Cameron Leslie. So Auckland Rhinos with their second turnover of the match. Part of the Health Vision Festival of Disability Sport. It's been a great weekend here at Mercury Bay Park Arena. There with Barton-Coots with his big levers, HBC or H. Maya Marshall Armai with a drag race with Leslie. Turns around, goes back, sends the ball down. Gareth Lynch, the 1-pointer. And Auckland Rhinos, they take the lead, 2-1. 6 minutes 20 left.
Beth? Hello everybody. If anyone finds a phone, can you just let us know please? Thank you.
Cheers, Coral. Ball there to Alexander. Falcon with Hayden Barton-Coots. That'll make the bloopers. And penalty try, illegal use of hands coming in. There's 2 apiece with 6 minutes left in the first period. Marshall Armai. There to Hayden Barton-Coots. Pushing well round Georgia Mekia. The number 2, wearing a different number than he usually is. It's 3-2 now, the Rhinos in front. Leslie deep in court. Got Georgia Mekia there up high. Looking at his options. Patience. Tries to spot a hole. Can't. Backs out of the key. "12 seconds left on the try clock." And gets the ball away to Chris Moore. And turnover. Hayden Barton-Coops with it as the 40-second clock meant. Long ball down to Marshall Armai. And Marshall Armai scores his second. 3-2. Auckland Rhinos, 4-2, sorry. The first buffer, the way of the Rhinos, goes their way. Leslie and Barton Coops with a bit of toing and throwing. As he backs around. 24 on the try clock. Uses this right wing. Marshall Armai there blocking Barton Coops. Can't deny the try. Georgia Mekia gets her second. 4-3. Auckland Rhinos with the early lead over the brand makers Waikato Stampede. Marshall Armai cleans up. First cousins with New Zealand Rugby League legend Benji Marshall. Great offload from Duncan to her partner Hayden Barton-Coops. Long ball over to Duncan and Freddie Duncan scores. 5-3, late inclusion into the Auckland team this weekend. Usually Kira, also Will Black's Kira as well. As Leslie bumps off Barton-Coops, great play with Keenan Alexander. And he's got Georgia Mekia high. And good teamwork in there. Duncan with the inbound to Barton-Coops. Looking round, Leslie with the drag race, blocking well. Alexander there. Long pass from Barton-Coops. Duncan takes it at the extent of her reach. Marshall Armai now tied up. Ball over the back to Barton-Coops. 20 seconds left on the try clock. Weaving around using his truck. Oh, the old dummy, and goes. Even Cameron Leslie acknowledges what a try that was. 6-4. 3:30 left in this first period. Long ball down to Mekia. Mekia trying to get the relievers. Can't pull it in. And the Brainmakers Waikato Stampede pulling in some subs. Robbie Hewitt coming on court for Georgia Mekia. Robbie Hewitt wearing his number 10, played first 5 when he was playing Union. It's the mighty Waiho club in Te Araha. Got the Thames player, you've got a Te Araha player with the Power or Commentator. Yeah, it's a great ball straight to Marshall Armai. Now the margin is 3. 7-4. There with Alexander, looking for some support. Finds Leslie. Leslie winding up. Barton-Coops can't stop him. Just got in front of his chair. And Leslie pulls it back to 2. Duncan finds Barton-Coops. The big beast of a man he is, but he's a friendly guy, I can tell you that. Marshall Armai working well. Will Black's co-captain to co-captain. Getting away to the 2025 Santos Wheelchair World Challenge on 29th of May to the 1st of June in Adelaide. Hewitt finds Alexander. And the mighty Thames Alley Caring teams up, 8-6. 2:27 left in this first period. Duncan, good pass there to Marshall Armai. One of the best female players in the world. Had a few health issues over the years. And 8 seconds, no bounce. New change this year in wheelchair rugby. It used to be 10, now it's 8. 2 seconds might not seem like a long time, but it really can count. Hewitt finding Leslie. Leslie, a Waikato player, but out of the Northland region. Carmo is his nickname, as that's where he grew up. Yes. Marshall Armai with the big deny. Leslie recovers. 20 left on the try clock. Hunter Corson does well to stay out of the way. Leslie winds up, trying to find the post, can't, and does in the end. Good try, well worked from all 4 Stampede players. 143, it's 8-7. There with Barton Coots looking, there's a bit of time, finds Marshall Armai. Quiet player off court, she does a lot of her talking on the court. And Duncan scores her second. 9-7. The Rhinos leading. WRC 2 taking place at Ruaparaha Arena in Porirua, 28th and 29th of June. Free entry as usual. If you can't make it, I'll be there with the live stream. There's the brand makers Waikato Stampede sitting back in the key, and the clock hasn't started when it should have, so we'll go back to the where the try was. It's 9-8.
There was no concert, they went to the last try. Yeah, last try.
Rhinos are leading, they'll have possession when the clock gets sorted. We're all human beings and make mistakes. And after, what have we had, 16 games? I mean, 8 on each court, it's been a long weekend. Players, spectators, staff. Stampede happy to wait for the Rhinos to come at them. Conserving a bit of energy as we come towards the end of the first period. 4 8-minute periods in wheelchair rugby, murder ball, quad rugby, whatever you want to call it. Barton Coots trying to find a way. Lynch with a grab, the 1-pointer. Makes it 10-8, just over a minute to play. There with Leslie. Asking for his screen. Long ball down to Kenan Alexander. Showing why a couple of years ago he was in the Wheelbacks development squad. 10-9, 50 seconds left. Ball there to Marshall Armai. Long ball down to HBC. He's got his levers going. Hard to beat him when he gets his arms working overtime. 11-9, 41 seconds left on the clock. Should be at least time for 2 possessions. Alexander racing with HBC, and HBC pulls up. Try scored 11-10, 32 seconds left. Brand makers Waikato Stampede sitting back in the key, conserving a bit of energy. Even Barton Coots just telling his teammates where he wants them to go. 90% of the sport is played off the ball. As we're entering 10 seconds left in the period, and great ball there to Marshall Armai. 12-10. And a 60-second timeout called by the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede. No, it's got to be called before the try is scored. So instead of the new rule where you are allowed to bring up the inbound to the front court in the last minute of play, it'll have to be inbounded down to the back at the baseline. Rhinos sitting back waiting. 7.5 seconds left. Good inbound there. Leslie picks it up. Now the clock starts. You can hear the count coming in. Leslie looking. Leslie trying to get through and does. And that is the end of the first period. Auckland Rhinos, they'll have the possession at the start of the second period. They lead 12-11. We'll be back in 2. Right, second period action about to start. Auckland Rhinos with possession. They have got the one try advantage. 12-11. So we enter period 2 of the WRC 1 final. Auckland Rhinos leading the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede. Good afternoon to you, David Klinkhammer, DK, if you are watching, mate. I'm sure you are. Proud Waikato Stampede player in the past, and still involved in training. It's good linking and play. Freddie Duncan opens the Rhinos account for the second period. There with Mick here. There will be a highlights and bloopers video posted at some stage soon of the tournament, as it's a 12-second violation. And you've got possession in the backcourt, you've got 12 seconds to get over the half. And the first turnover goes the way of the Rhinos. Gareth Lynch, the one-pointer, 1 point Will Black. Batting the ball down to Marshall Armoy. Controls it well at the top of his fingertips. There with Barton Coots. And the whistle goes, no try. 8 seconds in the key. And the second turnover of the period goes the way of the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede. Brandmakers, one of Wheelchair Rugby's main sponsors, as well as Lynn River and Melrose Chairs. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring, along with McFall's Fuel, who was the wheelchair rugby sponsor for the Festival of Disability Sport. And Barton Coots rips the ball out. It'll still be with Waikato though. And Infus Wirata, who's on court, is called for the inbound. It'll be front court only. She'll inbound, finds Leslie. Chris Moore there blocking, experienced player that Chris Moore is. Leslie winding up, looking at options. Wirata trying to find a hole, great pass there to Mekia. And Mekia scores. 13-12 now. Rhinos still leading. 6 minutes 50 left in the second period, first half. And Marshall Armide pretty much does that, no issue. Leslie winding up, looking at options, turns around, comes back again to this near side, spots the hole, Marshall Armide out of the way, and a penalty try scored. Oh, intercept, Georgia Mekia levels things up, it's 14 apiece. 6:20 left, second period. WRC run final for 2025. Marshall Armide down to Freddie Duncan, all on her own. And the Rhinos back in front, 15-14, 6:07 left. Wirata does the inbounding. Leslie turns around. Big levers if Barton Coots gets in his way. Got to get it over half. Does. Barton Coots makes sure they get the turnover back. As Chris Moore calls for equipment timeout, some substitutions are made. Have a minute to sort out an equipment timeout. Otherwise, you can call a 60-second timeout if need be, or make a substitution. Got it sorted. Yes, Lynch finds Barton Coots, sorry. On that far side, Ken Alexander trying to give chase. Good old drag race happening there. But Barton Coots, those long arms of his, extends the margin back to 2. 16-14 they lead. 5:38 left. Leslie with it, takes the inbound. In and out with Barton Coots, gets over half. Like basketball, if you come into your front court, you can't go back. Now Leslie trying to beat Marshall Armide does. 16-15, 5:20 left. Marshall Armide finds those long arms of Barton Coots. Marking with Leslie, back to Marshall Armide. Keenan Alexander there. Barton Coots just killing a bit of time. 20 seconds left. Actually have to be careful about calling Hayden Barton Coots call it killing time. You can do it. It is within the laws, but he's had a couple of times where he's told people off for saying that about him, including me. Leslie over halfway. Way to Mickey up. She has the rest of the court to herself. 17-16. Grandmaker Stampede trailing. Duncan looking for the support, and it's come off the front of Leslie's chair. So it'll be with Rhinos still. Chance though for both teams to reset both attack and defence. Button Dukes. Well marked by Moore and Alexander. Ball down to Lincoln, to Lynch, sorry. Lynch scores. It's a pretty quick one-pointer. I should go to a lot of places and they go, oh, you're in wheelchair rugby. Do you know Gareth? Like, so many places, so many random places, and all these people seem to know Gareth. Yeah. Leslie gets around Marshall Armai. 18-17. 4:17 left in the first half. Give and go with Lynch. Back to Barton Coots. Barton Coots in and out. Asking Lynch to screen. Knocks Leslie out of the way. And great play. Great movement with the chair. Higher function players like Barton Coots as a three-pointer can just use his hips and move around. Leslie just short of the halfway, gets just over half and pushes well. And we're back to a one-point ball game. Use your whistle, Hunter. Ball down to Tony Duncan, who scores. 2018. There's a bit of an oopsie down there between referee and inbounder. Leslie takes it, not comfortably, but he's taken it well. Off on a fast pace into Lunch and squeezes through. 2019, 3:22 left in the half. There with Barton Coots. Finding Marshall Armai. They've played a lot of wheelchair rugby together. Can tell with the way they work as a team. And miscommunication. And a turnover here for the brand makers Waikato Stampede. Is an equipment check. Leslie's having to fix a strap or something. It's Hunter Corson, the referee. This is what the sport is. You know, everyone tries to pitch in no matter what role they are. Brand makers Waikato Stampede looking to level things back up. Hang on to your seats, this game is not going anywhere just yet. Gets over half. Ball down to Alexander. And we're locked up. 20 all. 2 minutes 49 left in the first half. Give and go with Lynch and Marshall Armai. Marshall Armai showing her pace. Leslie marking. Alexander marking. No problem. Now gives it to Barton Coots. Barton Coots tied up. Pass over to Freddie Duncan. And that's the second pass between the two partners. It has gone astray. There with Leslie. Nice pass there to Stewart. Ball down to Alexander. Alexander turns. And for the first time in the second period, the Grandmakers Waikato Stampede in front. 21-20. Just over 2 to play. It's a topsy-turvy game, wheelchair rugby, murder ball, quad rugby, whatever you call it. Big wicky do with Alexander. This time the pass between Duncan and Barton Coots pays off. It's 21 apiece, 154. Alexander goes for a spill. And it's a holding foul. Going against Alexander. Russ Mickey and Peter Klinghammer helping him back up. Somewhere else, but yeah, cheers mate. See, even the camera operator gets involved. Barton Coots, Waikato Stampede, sitting back in the key. Using his hips around well. Lynch trying to spot a hole. Nice offload away, Marshall Armai. Rhinos back in front, 22-21. 1:29 left on the clock for the first half. Here with Alexander. There to Leslie. Heavy contact between the two Wheel Blacks. Turnover time, is it? No, it's not. It's a backcourt violation. Last team to touch it, the front court was Auckland, and then it got tapped back into their backcourt. We then gained possession. Oh no, sorry, the ball's gone the other way. Fair enough. So Lynch with ball. 1:15 left in this period. In this first half, 2025 WRC 1 final. Marshall Armai asking Lynch to screen. Tie up maybe 1 or 2 Stampede players. Plenty of time on the clock, still 20 seconds on the try clock. Barton Coots gets out of his pick and goes over. And Auckland Rhinos back to a 2-point margin, 23-21, 47 seconds left. There was Hewitt. Hewitt marked well. Marshall Armai can't get the turnover. And they do. It's a 12-second violation. Big moment just before half time. 35 seconds. Auckland could kill the ball here, score last. Go into half time with a 3-point advantage. Lynch finding Barton Coots. Everything's just gone a little bit quiet here. Goes to that far side. He's got Lynch and Marshall Armai to his left. Duncan in front. Game management here in play. There's 12 seconds left. Ball there to Marshall Armai. And Marshall Armai makes it a 3-point ball game. 24-21. 60 seconds timeout made by Waikato Stampede. They'll have the inbound now in the front court. Change of rules this year means that if you call a 60-second timeout within the last minute of the period, you've inbound the ball in the front court. Just seeing them talking some strategies there. So 9 seconds exactly on the clock. Hewitt to inbound. Clock doesn't start till it's touched on court. Starts now. Leslie winding up. Can he make it a 2-point ball game? Great play by Keenan Alexander. Timeout. Oh, it's going to be before the ball's dead. So before the time score. Long ball down. No try. We go into the halftime break. Auckland Rhinos leading 24 over the Brandmakers 22. Back in 5 minutes, second half action coming up. All right, welcome back. The end of half time. It's been a pretty quiet half time. But a final that we have in play. It is the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede. They'll have the bit inbound. They trail 24-22. 2025 WRC 1 final. It'll be Leslie to start cruising up. The Rhinos sitting back in the key, conserving a bit of energy. Crashing through Hewitt, can't get there. Leslie backs out. Leslie winds up. Penalty try. Auckland Rhinos had all 4 players in the key, which can't happen. A penalty try rather than a player on the bin. Long ball down. Ends up with Barton Coots. Down to Marshall Armai, there back to Freddie Duncan. And Leslie goes round, down, and it's out of court. Still with the Auckland Rhinos though, still ball with them. Chance to reset. There's the clock's been reset incorrectly, but it's back now. There's Barton Coots. Asking Lynch to do some blocking. Can he find a hole round Mickey out? He can. Back to a 2-point margin. 25-23. 7:07 left. Leslie winding up. Long ball down to Mekia. Marshall Armai there marking her. And just gets in. No try. Mekia's put one wheel over and then gone back on court, which is an over and back violation. And the first turnover of the second half goes the way of the Auckland Rhinos. They have a 2-point margin, 6:50 left on the clock. Third period of 4. Marshall Armai down to Barton Coots. Barton Coots scores, makes it 3 now, 26-23. Bevin Jenkinson of Bears Broadcasting, live streamer and commentator for most of this tournament. Pleasure to have you wherever you've tuned in. Oh, Leslie, almost upending there himself. Tries to crash through, can't. Backs out, there's 20 left on the try clock. Trying to spot a hole. Duncan does well. And 8-second violation. 8 seconds in the key, sorry. And turnover. Rhinos just have the edge at the moment. Things are going their way. Still got a long time of rugby left. 14 minutes of game time. There with Marshall Armai. Starting to get up some speed. Gets around more. Around Mekia. Back to Barton Coots. And they'll show and go. The biggest margin of the game we've had. It's 4. 27-23. The Rhino staff like it. Hewitt taps it on. Leslie giving chase. He's got the ball. And after a little bit of hesitation, scores. 27-24. 5:30 left, third period. Marshall Armai, ball down. Duncan has caught all by herself. And the communication working better this period compared to the second for the Auckland Rhinos. Leslie winding up. Playing around with Barton Coots there with Mekia. Mekia takes it, well blocked. but Auckland Rhinos. Tony! But as Keenan Alexander comes on court for Georgia Mekia, Freddie Duncan, the fourth Auckland player in the key, she'll be there either for 30 seconds of game time or a Waikato try. Leslie winds up and pretty much Rhinos just give him the try. They're back to 4 players. 28-25, 4:56 left. The give and go with Marshall Armai. Away to Barton Coates, and Robbie Hewitt managed to find himself on the floor. It was off camera, so I don't know how it happened. It happens. Robbie Hewitt, an experienced player as well. Recently co-coach of the Wheel Blacks as well as player. And it'll be a reset of the clock since the defensive team stopped play. So an extra 40 seconds here. Winding up. Looking at options. Finds Marshall Armai, yes. And it's a penalty try. Waikato player leaving the court. 29-25, the margin is back to 4. Rhinos leading the brand makers Waikato Stampede. Tamaki Makoto taking on the mighty Waikato. Nice ball. And a given try there to Freddie Duncan. Scored a few in this game actually. Always talking about it every tournament. I should pay someone to do some stats for me. It's great to use in commentary. Alexander caught. Hewitt, yeah. It's gone into the front court, then turned around into the back. Backcourt violation, turnover, Rhinos ball. Hewitt pressuring Marshall Armai. She gets the ball comfortably though. Ball over the top to Barton Coots. Barton Coots off the pick pretty easy. Passages of play where he just makes things look so easy in a chair. 31-26, the margin 5. 3.5 minutes to play, third period. Still a long time of rugby to go in this one. Ball down to Alexander. Caught just over half. Back to Leslie. Leslie looking round, trying to get the offload away, finds Alexander. Marked well, there's only 8 seconds left on the try clock. There with Leslie. Leslie in, is he? Yes, he is. 0.2 of a second left on the try clock. 31-27, 2:50 left. Marshall Armai finding Duncan, and oh no, turnover, 8-second violation. It was 10, it's now 8. Start of the year it changed. I mean, you're okay. Hewitt down to Leslie. Marshall Armai checks him well. One of the very few mixed gender sports in the world that is full contact, and we have our first violation from Barton Coots in this game, illegal use of hands. You can go in with your hand and try and dislodge the ball. Once you strike the ball carrier's hand, that's when you become into trouble. You'll be there for 30 seconds of game time, or a Brandmakers Waikato Stampede try. There's Leslie scores. Yeah, not yet. And penalty try. Hunter, Tony. Sorry folks, just trying to help the officials. As Auckland calling a timeout. Used to be 4 30-second timeouts and 260. World Wheelchair Rugby made a few changes at the start of the year. Each team only has 3 60-second timeouts. They can only call once the ball is dead. Used to be able to call those 4 30-second timeouts while the ball was in play. Times you'd call it as the get out of jail free card. When you found yourself into trouble, you could use one of those. Those are gone. Lynch will get us back underway. Barton Coots is caught up high. Marshall Armai trying to get the levers going. Can she get the ball in time? No, she can't. That was touch and go. I was just worried that I'd stand on Nate and run over it. Nate's like, I don't care whose phone that is, I'm just going to back over it. There's some substitutions coming on for Brandmakers Waikato Stampede. Georgia Mekia coming on court, number 2 for Kenan Alexander. Robbie Hewitt will have the ball in that corner. There to Leslie, easy try. Barton Coots down court. Managing to get away from the pick from Chris Moore. The give and go with Lynch and Marshall Armai, working well. Ball down to Barton Coots. Barton Coots makes it 32-29, 2:12 left. Third period of 4. Hewitt looking for support. Can't. It's an 8-second violation. And that early turnover that the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede had is now been levelled out. Barton Coots is going to use a lot of these 40 seconds, as much as he can. And you've got the scoreboard on your side. Why not? Winds up towards the key, trying to crash through, can't. And it's a penalty try. One of the Waikato Stampede players out of court. 33-29, 148. Left. Mekia. Ambulatory player. Finds the ball to Leslie. And it's a 12-second violation now. Lynch with the inbound. He's got the scorers table to contest with Barton Coots at the top of his fingers. It's a long reach. One of the biggest in the game. The wingspan. Marshall Armai. Back to Barton Coots. 1:17 left on the game clock. 20 seconds left on the try clock. 10. Now they start to wind up the Rhinos. Barton Coots trying to crash through. Can't. Ball over the top. Lynch. Some great hands by the 1-pointer. And it's 33-29 as the brand makers Waikato Stampede call a timeout. 57 seconds left, 34-29. It's even closer than that. It's been a better second half, a better third period by the Rhinos, but the brand makers Waikato Stampede up to it as well. Oh, that's cool, Calvin. Taking the ball off a 4-year-old.
Your own 4-year-old?
Calvin Hewitt playing tricks with his own kids.
They're not mine.
Calvin, I'm trying to commentate. Leslie winding up as it was in the last minute. They got to bring the inbound closer. There was Hewitt. Hewitt scores. Need to use your voice, mate. 34-30, 44 seconds left. There with Duncan. Back to Barton Coots, Marshall Armai high. And the only player even close is Lynch. The brand makers Waikato Stampede calling another timeout. They'll have one left after this going into the last period. They trail 35-30 with 31.2 seconds left. And again, because we're inside the last minute of the period, they get to inbound the ball in the front court. No, kill the 40. Robbie Hewitt finding Leslie. On the game clock now, the game clock less than 40. We're now into the last 20. Auckland will have the inbound at this stage to start the last period. Winding up Leslie. Ball over to Hewitt. Nate. He's calling timeout. Nate. No. Auckland this time calling their 60 seconds timeout. There's 0.2 of a second left on the clock. Can be scored in that time. Barton Coots finds Lynch. And that is the end of the third period. WRC 1 2025 final. We'll go into the last period. Auckland Rhinos 35. The brand makers Waikato Stampede 31. Welcome back. We're into the last period of regulation time. 8 minutes of game time. Rhinos 35. Auckland Rhinos 35. The brand makers Waikato Stampede 31. Rhinos with possession. Ball down, Duncan takes it well. Gives it to Barton Coots. Barton Coots fires it over to Marshall Armai. She opens the account in the fourth period. 36-31. Enfys Werita on court. Can only find Barton Coots turnover time. Nice ball there to Duncan, and no try. 8 seconds in the key, and the first turnovers applied to the second. Werita with the inbound, finds Alexander, and Alexander pushed well out of court there by Marshall Armai. Three quick turnovers and very little game time. Marshall Armai as Leslie goes over. Try scored. And Leslie's not for the first time's gone over. Back in play, Leslie back on wheels. There'll be a highlights and bloopers reels posted to the Facebook page you're watching. Leslie will feature a few times having fallen over with the stream. As finds Alexander, does well. Back to Leslie. And with 7 minutes left on the clock, 37-32. Ball down to Duncan. Duncan takes it, gets over halfway, does she? No, she doesn't. Well, she does. Then goes into the back court. The brand makers who used to be DG Sport, Waikato Stampede with the turnover. 6:54. Waikato with the inbound. Finds Leslie. Crashes through. Yes, he does. There's a 4-point margin. 6:44 left. There with Barton Coots. Good hit coming in. Still in possession. Lynch there doing some defending. And Marshall Armai scores. 38-33. 6:26 left. If we're tied up at the end, we go to overtime. Stampede not happy about legal use of hands, but play on is the call, play the referee. Leslie over to Alexander, backs away, gives it back to Leslie. Leslie's lost it, regains it. You can hear the count coming in from the Waikato bench. You can see the time in there, turnover, and the shot clock, the try clock goes. Auckland Rhinos with another turnover. There to Barton Coots. Trapped in the back court, and it's gone out of court. Still with Auckland. No. I was just like, but how come you guys aren't complaining? I think the referee might have, the referee's just put the clock back to where it was. Marshall Armai takes it, and there's illegal use of hands. First player in the bin. What's that song? Show me the way. It's Keenan Alexander, not Cameron, that's going to the bin. There for 30 seconds of game time, or an Auckland Rhinos try. They have the one player advantage. Leslie trying to upset, can't. There's Barton Coots. Nate, to the bench. And Freddie Duncan scores. Nate, to the bench, mate. There with Leslie. Leslie on a drag race with Marshall Armai and Barton Coots has to back out of it. 23-22 on the try clock. You can see on the chair there, the clock counting down. Backs out of it. Leslie trying to squeeze in. And can't. Tony! So Nathaniel Tuairi onto the court for the first time in place of Gareth Lynch. Keenan Alexander and Enfys Wedita off. Georgia Mekia and Robbie Hewitt on. The Brandmakers Waikato Stampede. Barton Coates gets out of the way of Mekia. (40-33), the margin 7, 4.5 to play. Last period of regulation time. Nice flick ball. Hewitt tapping it back. Leslie reclaims it. Drag race beats Duncan. 40-34. 4:10 left on the clock. Now there's Barton Coots. It's over half. Looking where Duncan's going. Goes himself now. That might have come off Becky's head. Another Falcon. David Clinkham is tuning in. He loves a good old Falcon. The top of the any part of the head, if you're unsure what a Falcon is. Doesn't matter the sport. Rhinos have it. They've got 23 left on their try clock. Try clock came in after the 2008 Beijing Paralympics. Before then, as long as you got over half, you could just basically kill the ball, bounce it. Scores basically doubled since Beijing due to the try clock. Ever-changing game. Wheelchair rugby, murder ball, quad rugby. A reminder, you can watch these games back on Facebook for the next 30 days. I will upload them. 40-second violation expires. Marshall Armour's got a fair point. There was nobody calling out the try clock for Auckland. I think she was looking at you, Gareth. Leslie getting over half. Another tussle with Barton Coots. Wheel black teammates on Mekia. Just below her knees. Takes it, no problem. 40-35. 3:16 left. Can the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede make a miraculous comeback? Oh, Rhinos hold on. Marshall Amo says the latter. 41-35. 3:07 left. You all done, are you, Daniel?
Yeah, bro.
Nice meeting you. Sorry. Trying to multitask. There with Leslie. Looking round. Marshall Armour gets through. Doesn't stop him. Leslie gets through. 41-36, 2:55. Marshall Armour takes it back to a 6-point ball game. There with Leslie. Moving around. And he scores 42-37. So controls like OBS through here. Yeah. There with Barton Coots. Leslie tailing him. Getting over half. Marshall Armour. Bumps off Hewitt. And scores the 43rd for the Auckland Rhinos. Back to a 6-point margin, 2:14. Time at the moment not on the Brandmakers Waikato Stampede side. Leslie, down to Mekia. And Mekia scores. So see, I'll clip that. Let's see how it says replay buffer save.
Yeah.
Is illegal use of hands. Matt Hawani on the court for the Rhinos for the first time. Hawani, Marshall Armai, Barton Cooks and Duncan for the Rhinos. Nice little pass there to Barton Cooks. 44-38, 140 left. Rainmakers, Waikato Stampede have Leslie, Moore, Hewitt and Mekia. Leslie down to Mekia. Back to Hewitt. And 44-39, 130 left. This game is all but the Auckland Rhinos to win. WRC 1 2025 final. It's at the front of Jody's chair. Leslie pinches it. And penalty try out of court. As I said, there'll be highlights and a bloopers reel posted on the Facebook page you're watching at some stage. Leading the bloopers reel will be me falling over on camera, trying to outsmart a 6-year-old. As Leslie's hands got in the way of it, still lands with Duncan. It might have come off Hewitt's chair. It does. Leslie does well to stay on his wheels. Gets the turnover. Down to Hewitt. Matt Hawani there to try and block him. He can't. A 2-pointer and a 0.5, it's hard. 44-41, the margin is 3. 56 seconds left. Auckland Rhinos could kill it here. They need to play smart rugby though. They need to get over half. That's the first thing they need to do. Marshall Armai tips it down to Duncan. Duncan is not going to get there. Just out of reach, but not the worst thing for the Rhinos. Waikato Stampede needs to score 3 tries in 40 seconds. That is 40 seconds of game time though. That's a topsy-turvy sport. Been ripped. Turnover. The Rhinos. Duncan this time can make up for it. And Duncan almost seals it. 45-41. 26 seconds left. Leslie. Be down. Go, coaches. Yep. Coaches, look. As Waikato score, it's 45-42. 15.1 seconds left as Auckland Rhinos call a timeout. They're going to take it as well. Almost all but putting the icing on the cake. It's been an epic final. WRC 2, 28th and 29th of June at Te Rua Paraha Arena in Porirua. This broadcasting will be there. 15.1 seconds. Marshall Armour over the inbound, finds Barton Coots. They can pretty much just sit there with ball, as long as they bounce. There with Barton Coots. 46-42 with 0.9 of a second as the brand makers Waikato Stampede call a 60-second timeout. It is going to be Auckland Rhinos who will be 2025 New Zealand Wheelchair Rugby WRC 1 champions. Funny that when, well, you know. Nikia. The clock doesn't start till it's touched on court. It is within the realms of possibility to score a consolation try. Nikia floats it up, touches. That is it. Auckland Rhinos are your 2025 WRC 1 champions. Congratulations to the brand makers Waikato Stampede. They've made a decent final out of it, but the Rhinos 46 have taken this one 42. Big thanks to all the volunteers that put this together, the Festival of Disability Sport, Health Vision, the referees, the timekeepers, the bench officials, the volunteers that have helped me out on camera. Huge thanks to those of you who have tuned in. Take care out there, folks. Look after yourselves. Please look after your mental health. Hey, cool now.